Coming up on Takedown with Chris Hansen.
Ready to go?
In Genesee County, Michigan, a man with a disturbing past has not learned his lesson and is at it again.
Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna have you take a seat right over there.
But he's not getting away that easy.
Trust me, you don't want to do that.
And where he's been before will leave you stunned.
How long did you have to go to prison?
7 years.
7 years. So what does that make you?
Stupidest.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here. I hope you're enjoying this free full episode of Takedown. But there is something you need to know. We have almost 100 new episodes on my streaming crime network, watch TruBlu.com. Use the code HANSEN24 for half off your first month, or Hansen Year for $20 off a full year. We'll see you soon on TruBlu.
My God, are you Chris Hansen?
I am. The one and only. Ready to go?
I'm back in Genesee County, Michigan with the Ghost Team for another investigation to identify and capture potential child predators.
Today we're doing an operation, a ghost operation. Chris, you got anything to start with?
We're ready to go as always. The home is wired, cameras are in.
After the briefing, it's off to the Sting House in this modest neighborhood in the suburbs. A ghost detective has been chatting with a man looking for sex with an underage girl. And just who this man is both surprising and sadly not surprising.
We believe this next alleged predator is a registered sex offender?
Yes,
And how do we know that?
based on the information that we gathered from the conversation.
Got it. And what does he say?
Right out of the gate, first thing is, want to taste your niece?
And he's saying this to you thinking you were the aunt who's
Yes,
15.
yes. I told him how old she was, informed me that he was black, wanted to know if she was okay. You know, I said, she's 15, I don't want to share her photos all over the internet. And he said, is she okay? And I said, we talked about the price. I said, you know, can you do 100? I said, hell yes, she is. I wouldn't be doing this if she wasn't. He let me know that he couldn't do 100 because he just paid rent. But we have agreed to a price of $50. At first he wanted to meet to see if we were both comfortable with each other.
Right.
I said, I'll agree to the $50 if he wanted to do it tonight. And that was it.
And he's on his way. How far out do we think he is?
Penn Galley. Yeah, so about 10 minutes if you want to go ahead.
And so does he say that he's a registered sex offender, or basically you were able to...
We did a reverse search.
Do you know the first name?
Ray.
Ray. And do we know an age?
Tony.
Tony. And do we have an age?
58.
58, registered sex offender, and he's coming for a 15-year-old girl. Never gets shocking.
The Ghost Team and I learned that the man is 58-year-old Tony, who is a registered sex offender. He served 7 years in Michigan prisons for criminal sexual conduct with a person 13 years old or younger. One would think he should know better, having been to prison, being on the registered sex offender list, being on probation. But none of that stops Tony from showing up.
It's 1 mile away.
1 mile away. All right, let's get ready.
The decoy acts as a lookout, while the Ghost Team and I wait for Tony's arrival.
Where's the area?
And we don't have to wait very long.
He's circling the block right now.
Hi. Sorry, that door is a little sticky. We just moved in here. You thought I was joking? Why? So I seen you like drive really slow and then you turned around right there.
Yeah, I said I was right there, but
You had an iPhone? iPhones take you like to that end of the subdivision.
Yeah, it took me right there.
Yeah, they're really weird. I'm gonna go throw my phone on the charger real fast because I'm at like 15% and I don't want it to die. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm gonna have you take a seat right over there.
Nah.
Well, you don't, trust me, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Not, man. Put your hands behind my back.
Yep. Tony did not take my advice, and he tried to make a run for it.
Come on, man.
which only leads to him being put in cuffs. Can't say I didn't warn him.
Man.
Ray, come on over here.
Have a seat for me.
So what was your plan tonight?
What's no plan?
Well, tell me why you're here. Help me to
To
understand.
be honest, I just came, man.
You just came?
Yeah.
Well, what happened? It's Ray, right?
Nothing.
Ray is your name?
My name Tony.
Tony.
Yeah.
That's your real name is Tony.
Yeah.
And Tony, how old are you?
50.
50. 50 or
58.
58, okay. Tell me what happened. How did you get in this situation?
To be honest, I caught something and I came and I was just coming this. I mean, I wasn't gonna do shit. I'm honest with you.
Right. Now you gotta look at me and be honest with me.
I am honest.
Okay, because that's gonna determine a little bit what happens next.
Right.
So you gotta level with me and tell me exactly what happened tonight.
I caught an ad.
Right. From the internet.
Yeah.
From one of those platforms.
Yes.
Right. And what was the ad for?
It was saying a niece and somebody.
Right. So it was a woman who was offering her niece for sex.
I mean, that's what she said.
That's what she said. And how old was the niece, did it say?
I don't know it. I don't know. I mean, they texted and she said she was underage, but that's why I wanted to see if they was
wanted to see.
lying, because I ain't want to do no underage.
You didn't want to
No.
have sex with anybody
No.
underage.
I know all about Tony's past offenses, but let's just see if he tells me the truth.
So you just came over to check it out.
Yeah, basically.
You were worried about the girl?
I mean, I was worried.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a
You were
situation like this before.
wary or worried?
Worried. I just wanted to talk to him, man.
Right.
Because I've been in a situation like this before, man.
You were in a situation like this before. And what happened in that other situation?
To be honest, I had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she accused me of the shit.
Of what shit?
Of trying to mess with her daughter.
Right. And did you mess with her daughter?
No.
And how old was the daughter?
I think at the time, her daughter was probably like 13.
13. And so what happened in that case? You just wrongfully
I mean,
accused
I'd
you?
met a couple people and I done talked to them and told them my situation, basically my testimony.
Right. So take me back to this other situation with the girlfriend you had with a 13-year-old daughter.
Right.
She accused you
Right.
of being inappropriate with the 13-year-old
Well,
daughter.
basically, yeah, because I got close to him like a father figure.
Father figure.
And basically, she say, if you don't be with me, then I'm going to make your life miserable.
So you broke up with the mother.
So I done met a couple of people and I done talked to them and tried to talk them out of this situation because I didn't have first-hand experience with it.
Right. Okay, so back up to the other situation, though. You were going to break up with the mother.
Yeah.
And the mother threatened you and said, if you break up with me, I'm going to allege that you had sex with my daughter
Yeah.
or had a sexual contact with my daughter.
Yeah.
And so then what happened?
I came back to Flint. It was in Ipsy. And she used to clean up for the judge. So
For the judge?
I had to take a cop.
You had to take a cop, a guilty plea.
And I got locked up for it.
You got locked up?
Since then, like I say, these situations, I like to talk to them. And
So because of your situation having to go to prison
yeah,
for having sex with a 13-year-old girl.
I didn't have sex with her.
But you pleaded guilty to that charge.
Well, I pleaded no contest.
You pleaded no contest.
No, you told me to.
Right, okay. And how long did you have to go to prison?
7 years.
7 years. Where'd you go?
I went to Jackson,
Jackson.
left there and went to St. Louis,
St. Louis, Michigan.
KTF.
KTF. And how was Jackson? That's a pretty rough place.
I mean,
Used to be 6,000 inmates, the biggest walled prison in
it
the
was,
United
man,
States.
but like I say, I know y'all probably don't believe me, but like I say, since then, I be talking to people about this shit.
7 years. That's a hard time.
Pretty much.
You had a lot of time to think when you were in prison for
Hell
7
yeah.
years. Regrets.
A lot of regrets. I mean, I guess it ain't no good idea to talk to nobody shit if it's the case.
So, just so I understand this correctly, because you got locked up after pleading no contest to improper sexual contact with a 13-year-old girl, the daughter of the woman you used to date,
Right.
you now talk to people from time to time about not getting into this situation?
Yeah. That probably ain't the smartest thing to do, but I mean, a couple of times I didn't stop the people from doing it, though.
You did. And so what was your message to this 15-year-old girl tonight?
I was gonna tell her that shit. Like,
You're going to tell her?
yeah, about my story.
And what about the aunt?
What about her?
Were you going to talk to her?
I mean, whoever was willing to talk, if she was willing to talk to her.
A convicted felon and registered sex offender turned Good Samaritan. Well, I've heard that one before.
You brought some money with you.
I was going to the store.
To buy what?
Man, listen, we barbecuing at work tomorrow.
You're barbecuing at work tomorrow. And you just decided on your way to the store to get the barbecue,
Yeah.
you were going to come by here.
Yeah, and talk to him. That's why I was
Talk
hoping
to
they came
him.
outside to let him know why he doing this.
Now, the chat you had with them indicates maybe you thought the girl was going to be
I mean, I
barbecue
said something
treat for
crazy.
tonight.
Nah.
Hmm?
I mean, I talked that, but that was just to get him outside.
I want to taste your niece.
I wasn't finna go through with that.
What did you
I mean,
mean
I
when
know
you
you don't
said,
believe
I
me.
want to taste your niece?
I mean, that's what I said. I ain't gonna lie to you.
She was going to be your barbecue tonight.
Hell no.
Well, that's what it says.
I wasn't gonna do it, though. That's what I'm telling you. I wasn't gonna go through with it.
And how long did you drive to get over here tonight?
Probably about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. And at any time when you were driving over here, did you think, I've been down this road before, I shouldn't be doing this?
Yes,
Ain't nothing but trouble gonna happen to Tony Allen tonight.
The whole damn time, man, to be honest.
Now, you were driving around the neighborhood, we were watching.
Right.
You're checking it out, kind of skulking around. The acts of a suspicious man. Somebody who's up to no good.
I went up to no good.
Well, come on, why even mess with it, Tony? I mean, I've been
You're
doing
right.
this a long time.
I know.
How long do you think I've been doing this?
Shit, probably for a long time.
42 years, maybe? 20 years doing this exact thing?
Right.
How many times do you think I've heard a fella say to me, I wasn't gonna do nothing. I was just gonna talk to him.
I really was.
Yeah, I know, but I hear that all the time. Why should I believe you, Tony?
I'm praying that you do.
Well, Tony, besides the 2002 no contest plea that landed you in prison for 7 years,
Right.
criminal sexual conduct in the second degree with a person under 13 or under,
Right.
have you been in trouble with the law before or any
Not
other
at all.
time?
Not at all.
Since you got out, have you been into trouble?
Not at all.
But tonight, as we speak, you are a registered sex offender.
Yes, sir.
You have to report.
Yes, sir.
Who do you report to?
The state police.
And what do you suppose the state police are going to say when they find out you've been arrested in a sting operation here in Genesee County, Michigan? How's that going to go over, Tony?
Not good.
Not good. They're going to send your tail back to prison, aren't they? This is a no bond offense, sir.
Earlier, while we waited for Tony to arrive, we did some more digging and found out that his son and namesake has a lengthy rap sheet as well.
Now, there's another fella with your name, only with Junior at the end of it,
My son.
and he's been in a heck of a lot of trouble, too.
Yeah.
Weapons charges, assault charges, attempt to commit murder charges. What the hell's going on with him?
To be honest, he was in a relationship with a girl, and I talked to her and I talked to him, and to be honest, her story sounded more convincing.
Is he in prison now?
Yeah, they said
He's in prison now.
that he shot her.
He shot her. Do you think your son shot this woman?
To be honest, I think it was an accident.
An accident. Now, you see how this looks. You got a dad who did 7 years for criminal sexual contact in the second degree involving a child 13 or younger. And then you got his son, who's in prison now for a laundry list of violent offenses. It seems like you ought to be taking care of your son better than prowling around these parts looking to have sex with a 15-year-old girl.
I have sex, sir.
Well, I know, but that doesn't make sense, Tony. You had the chat, you got in your car, you drove over here, you said you wanted a taste of this girl, you knew she was 15, you said you couldn't do $100, so you agreed on 50.
And that was all to talk.
That was all to talk.
I promise you I wouldn't have went forward with nothing.
Well, what were you going to do? Just sit around those two comfortable leather chairs there and say, hi, howdy do? And
I wanted to
I went to prison for this once
Yeah,
before, and
yeah.
you shouldn't do this, young lady.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the truth, Tony. I think you're
I'm
lying
serious,
to me.
I
I think you
swear.
would have been having sex with this girl if you had
I
the
would not
opportunity.
have sex with her.
I don't buy it.
Sir, I know you don't bite, but I wouldn't. I told you, I've been in this situation before, man. And as hard as it was for the whole situation to go down, ever since I've been like talking to people and shit like that, and I done met a couple of people and ain't nothing ever went down.
How many other people have you met this way?
Like twice.
And did you tell your people to whom you report for the registered sex offender program?
No.
What do you think they'd think about it?
I mean, they wouldn't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea, is it? Because look what happened.
You're right.
So what are we to make of this?
I'm hoping you believe me, but I know it don't look like that.
Well, Tony, there's something you need to know. I'm Chris Hansen, and I do stories on men who try to meet kids for sex. Have you seen those stories?
No.
To Catch a Predator, Takedown, Hansen versus Predators. This is one of those stories. Is there anything else you want people to know about what led you here tonight?
A stupid ass decision.
And what do you say to other men who are thinking about doing the same thing you did tonight?
It's stupid as fuck.
Stupid as fuck. So what does that make you?
Stupid as fuck.
Anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
All right, there's some people here who are going to take it from here. And they're going to put you through a process that you're probably familiar with.
Like what?
Like criminal charges.
Sir.
The rest of this is not up to me. I know, but I don't have the power. I don't have the control over the situation. These people do.
Well, let me talk to them.
Okay, well, they're going to come out right now and talk to you. And they'll take you to a place where you can explain it the best you can. Do you have anything else in your pocket? Any weapons in the truck?
No.
In your SUV?
No.
No guns in there?
Oh, no, I can't carry guns. and
Yeah.
stuff like
Well, you're also not supposed to come into a house to try to have sex
You're
with a
exactly.
15-year-old
I wasn't going to have sex, I swear, sir.
Is it hard as a registered sex offender? Do they make it difficult on you here in Michigan?
Yeah.
It'll be harder now, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, I won't be talking to nobody no more.
Yeah. Well, that's because they're not going to give you a phone in prison, probably. But
Sir,
I'm telling you, it's up to these gentlemen here.
please, sir.
All right, I'm going to let them take over.
Let me know when you're in the drive. Is this all the money you had on your sir? Was there any in your wallet?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 40, 60, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what you had on you?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir.
Tony was charged with child sexually abusive activity,
Tony, thanks for talking to me.
Appreciate you.
accosting and soliciting a minor, using a computer to commit a crime, and violating his probation.
Wow. Wow. Think on that for an hour or two. It doesn't appear that Tony is going to see daylight for some time. I mean, imagine a guy who went to prison for 7 years, very similar offense. He blames his girlfriend, the mother of the girl involved there. And on top of it, his own son is now in prison for violent crimes. Never ceases to amaze me who shows up in these sting operations.
Genesee County, Michigan Sheriff Chris Swanson is just as disturbed as I am that a registered sex offender showed up in our investigation. But it's exactly why Ghost was created.
We had a guy surface in the sting, 58 years old, Tony. He had been convicted after pleading no contest of sexual contact with a 13-year-old girl, the daughter of his girlfriend at the time, did 7 years in prison. And here he is in our sting after a sexually charged conversation trying to meet a 15-year-old girl.
He's not going to change. And how many people between the 13-year-old victim and the 15-year-old ghost op did he potentially, but most likely, assault?
We knew before he came in that he was a registered sex offender.
That's right.
We knew that. And when he came in, he tried to tell me that he was just going to try to talk to this girl and her aunt because of his previous experience.
How many times have you heard that?
Many times. How many times have you heard it, and how many times have you believed it?
All the time, never.
How dangerous is a guy like 58-year-old Tony?
He's been doing it for probably a large part of his adult life. And what we have to remember is that plea that he took was a plea stepping down for what really did happen. That's what plea agreements are. You're pleading to a lesser charge, but it doesn't take away the fact of what he did to this victim was probably far greater than what he pled to. And he didn't have the courage to plead guilty. He pled no contest, which is a guilty plea in the court system, but it's not taking responsibility.
He tried to spin a story to me that his girlfriend at the time was upset with him because he broke up with her and made these false allegations against him about sexual contact with her 13-year-old daughter. Do you buy that at all?
I will tell you that I have seen in domestic situations that it has been used as a weapon. I don't know the circumstances of the case. I don't know who investigated, but clearly there was a plea offered and a no contest was taken. So something had to have happened. Criminals minimize bad behavior. That's what happens. It doesn't matter what the crime is. Very few have the guilty conscience, the conviction to come forward and say, this is what I did, this is everything I did. You have to peel back all these layers. And it's human nature. They try to mitigate, they try to rationalize. But in the end, you still have a crime and you have a victim.
He's been out of prison, albeit a registered sex offender, for 12, 14 years maybe. What do you suppose he's done since then that we don't know about at this point?
God only knows. That's why this type of crime is the only crime in America that after you serve your sentence, you're still registered. You're still held accountable. People on any side, the medical community, law enforcement, they have agreed that these individuals need accountability. Does that mean everybody's gonna reoffend? No. Does that mean some of them will reoffend? Yes.
And given his criminal history, it appears Tony won't be getting out of prison anytime soon.
Given the fact that he's a registered sex offender, what will likely happen to him next based upon his arrest in our state?
So, number one, there's a whole separate charge with him having a repeat behavior. So not only will be held accountable, and we usually charge with 3 felonies, he'll be held accountable on a habitual offender ×2. So many times they have to do the tail end of whatever they had left and then the new charge. But on top of that, the court is going to look at this new offense and he will take a plea. I have no doubts he won't be able to take this to trial. We have very, very few ghost cases I can count on one hand since 2018 that we've actually had these cases go to trial. They all plea and we never lose.
What would have happened had there been a 15-year-old girl there and had we not been there?
Oh, it'd have been over. It'd have been another crime stacked on another crime, but unreported. And the fact that he was so premeditated, there was nothing that jogged his conscience to say, wait, what am I doing? I'm still a registered sex offender. I could have an habitual charge. I could be caught in a sting. None of that mattered. That's the mentality of these kinds of predators, and that's why this country needs you and me.
WatchTruBlu.com is home to the full library of Takedown with Chris Hansen, true crime documentaries, and exclusive investigations.